All right, good morning, traders. Today is September 22nd, 2025. Hey, my name is John Carignan. I'm the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. That is the day trading service for the Hit and Run Candlesticks family. Thank you for being here. Hey, thank you, everybody out there in podcast land, digital land, cyber land. Thank you for subscribing, following, being a part of my groups, or my channels, or my feed, my podcast. Thank you so much. Thanks for the kind words. Special shout out to John Jordan, Bob Jordan, Kathy, Sarah Roasted for sharing the content, helping getting the good word out there to the rest of the world. Appreciate that. Love that. All right. Like the comments. All right. Let's go take a look at what happened on Friday. And we'll start off with, I got an announcement. Got another announcement here. All right. Tomorrow, Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025. Says 8:45 to 4:15, but let me just say this. You might want to get there early. Rick has a lot of video content. He'll probably have a video for the morning trading day, so might want to get there a little bit earlier than 8:45. But anyways, he's saying he's going to start at 8:45. It's going to last till 4:15. All right, it's open house in. It's not open house. He's calling it the Road to Wealth Workshop, and it's free to attend. All you got to do is register. If you want to get registered, there'll be a link in the description of my video. If not, you can scan this with your smartphone camera, and a pop-up will appear. All right, will generate on your screen. You just press that pop-up, and a link will open up in your browser. Just fill out the registration form, and they will email you the credentials to get into the room for tomorrow. So go ahead. It's free. Again, it's free education. Take advantage of it. If you cannot find your credentials in your mail, again, check your spam folder. All right? So there's the Hit and Run Candlesticks Road to Wealth Workshop. That sounds kind of cool. All right, let's go take a look at what happened today, Friday, in the markets. All right, today is September 22nd. Again, good morning. Thanks for being here. My SPY pivot this morning is 662.60. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. SLV, FNGU, IWM, QQQ made new all-time highs. Diamond Dow and SPY made inside days, closing over bullish traps over their 17 EMA, still in uptrends. SPY closed with a 2-hour uptrend and a 10-minute uptrend, so I'll be looking for continuation of the 10-minute uptrend. Don't think I'm going to get it this morning based on the pre-market action. We'll see. Things could shape up soon. I don't know. We'll see. But my favorite trade is the 10-minute uptrend over VWAP inside the 2-hour uptrend that resides inside the daily uptrend, that resides inside the weekly uptrend, that resides inside the monthly uptrend. I got all those bigger time frames supporting my little 10-minute uptrend. Okay, that's my favorite trade, so I'll be looking for that today. Gold made a higher high and a higher low, closing inside a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. Silver, don't forget, made a new all-time high. USO made a lower low and a lower high, closing under a bearish cross and under the 17 EMA. UNG made a lower high and a lower low, closing under a bearish trap under the 17. US dollar index still in a downtrend. Hey, we love that as investors. Closed near 97.63 area. SPY max pain for today. That's for the options that expired today. That'd be the puts and the calls. All right, 663 with a put to call ratio of about 3 puts to each call that expires today. So a put squeeze is on the table. We'll see what happens. For each call that expires today at 4:15, remember those index options expire at 4:15. Security options expire at 4 p.m. Now, if you're looking at this for the first time, these are all bullish. These are all in bullish uptrends over the 17 EMA. If they got a little star next to it, it means they're building out a launch pad. That would be a flat section of the bull flag from which to launch higher. All right, so Aklo had a really fantastic day. Friday, RGTI too. All right, so bears again. They're in a daily downtrend underneath the 17 EMA. These are in a daily uptrend over the 17 EMA. Bears, okay, if they got a little star next to them, they're building out a platform from which to dip lower, okay? So that would be the flat portion of a bear flag. So this is building out a flat portion from which to dip even lower. Same here with KView, TDD. All right, so those are downtrends, daily downtrends, uptrends, daily uptrends, okay? Under the 17, over the 17, all right? So let's go ahead and see what the markets are producing today. Actually, for Friday, let's take a peek at everything. Let me see, which one do I want here? I'll take that. That's not bad. Okay, 10-minute uptrend coming into the close yesterday. All right. Had a good day on for the account on Friday. What are we at here? Let's see where we're at. Take a peek. Okay, made 21K. All right, on Friday. All right, it's easy to make 21K when they give you the nice dip and the nice rally back up. Okay, so that made it easy. Okay, when it moves flat across the screen in a bull flag or bear flag, either one like that, is difficult to make good money. Okay, but when you can get a beautiful 10-minute uptrend, see right here, this is a 10-minute chart. See the 3 on top of the 8, 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. It's easy to make good money on a 10-minute uptrend over VWAP when you got all the bigger time frames supporting your little 10-minute uptrend. Okay, so here's price coming down, pulling back to. This is my line right here. Okay, pulling back to the base. I'd expect this to go twice as high, but it didn't seem to get there. Maybe it gets there today. We'll see. This is my line. This is the quarter point FOMC cut, anchored VWAP right there, that purple line right there, or violet. Okay, so that's the one I don't want to break. All right, we start closing candles or generating a bear flag underneath there. That's not what I want to see. Okay, so you can see price probably pulling back to this uptrend. Let's swing this out just a little further. Right here, okay? So probably pulling back to this uptrend that started back in the beginning of September. Okay, so probably pulling back to this uptrend line. So wouldn't doubt it if we wind up pulling back to this, maybe right about there, right about 659.51 sometime today. We'll see. All right, hopefully we don't. Hopefully we run off and make a higher high. We do have that 10-minute uptrend coming in from yesterday. All right, to trade SPY this morning, all right, I will probably, let's pull this up, mark off, can't really mark off the bottom and the top because you got this huge candle here. But I'll tell you what I would do is I would mark off that high and I would mark off that low, okay, and a breakout of either one of those. I'd probably be willing to trade since we're underneath that quarter point basis cut anchored VWAP. Keep in mind you do have support right here, and again support at 659.66. Okay, so right around 659.60, 659. All right, look for a bounce, maybe a bounce right around there. All right, so there's SPY. I'm also going to mark off the first 15 minutes, so I'll put it on a 5-minute chart. At that point, I'll take my box and I'll box off the first 3 5-minute candles, and I like to trade a breakout of the box. Okay, so that's my plan this morning. Hopefully get a nice 10-minute green candle and have some continuation to that 10-minute uptrend we had on Friday. We'll see what happens. It doesn't look promising at this point. It looks more like a pullback to the lower channel line. Okay, so you get the channel, price is running through right there, so it looks more likely to pull back to the lower channel line. We'll see what happens. Let's swing this. I just want to move that. Don't want that there, and I kind of want to move this right about there. Okay, because I think that's a bad tick. All right, so That's kind of really where I want it, right on this one, that low that happened on the 17th, right there. Line it up with that, and this candle we had on the 2nd, right here, that low. That'd be the FOMC. That's a different one. Right here, that low right there. Okay, so probably going to pull back to this channel line. We'll see what happens, all right? Don't want to break the channel line, though, all right? So there's SPY on the 5-minute. There's the plan. Let's take a look at the game plan. Might be irrelevant today, but we'll see what happens. Let's take a peek at it anyway. Okay, so we can talk about it. Okay, you got SPY pivot, 662.60. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Okay, you got a green erases red entry. Okay, so if you got a 10-minute uptrend, all right, green erases red entry at 664.20. That would be a bullish green erases red entry if a 10-minute uptrend happens to run through there, you know, before 2:30. Okay, and then we got a red erases green entry below 660.70. In other words, price moves up and then comes back and erases that move up only to make a lower low. Okay, so red erases green underneath 660.70, right underneath there. Again, I'd be looking to come to this channel line right here. See that channel line? That's the lower channel line. You got the upper channel line, the lower channel line. That would be kind of like my target. That it's an area, okay? It's probably not going to be exact, but you'll figure it out when they're done where the exact line is, because you'll see where candles stop and where other candles begin. You know, as far as bullish and bearish side of it, but it's going to be an area for right now. I would look for that pullback to this area. So there's SPY. There's the game plan for this morning. QQQ has a game plan as well. All right, QQQ, we got a green erases red entry. And don't forget, QQQ made a new all-time high on Friday. QQQ green erases red entry over 599.40. QQQ pivot, 598.05. Red erases green entry underneath 596.20. That's the QQQ game plan. That would be the NASDAQ, all right? On the NASDAQ, on 10-minute chart, you can see we left off with 10-minute uptrend over VWAP on the QQQ. Let's take a look at the 2-hour. Let me zoom in here. Hopefully I can figure. Yep. Got the 3 EMA. That's the yellow line. 3 EMA up over the white line. That's the 8 EMA. So you can see had a 2-hour uptrend coming into the close and a 10-minute uptrend. So again, on QQQ and SPY, we're looking for continuation of that 10-minute uptrend. Does not look promising this morning. Okay, I got to say that. We'll see. Things could happen. All right, could be just a fake out, and they rip it. We'll see what happens. All right, on both QQQ and SPY, I like 4 days and 11 days till expiration Friday options. Why Fridays? More open interest. More open interest equals higher liquidity. Okay, so we like that. All right, I like the multiples of 5. They tend to have more open interest than the alternate numbers. All right, with strikes of $2 to $15 out of the money. Those are the ones I like. Now, I'm not opposed to trading in the money options. All right, I'm just going to say they cost you more right up front. All right, and that means if they cost you more, you're laying out probably more risk. All right, so I like out of the money options, less risk. Okay, I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP, both of them, QQQ and SPY. I like 10-minute downtrends under VWAP, both of them, QQQ and SPY. I like them particularly when those uptrends are peeling up and away from VWAP, and the downtrends peeling down and away from VWAP. All right, a lot of money to be made when price starts to separate from VWAP. It shows me that it's going off to probably find some support for it to bounce on, okay, on those downtrends. Same with the uptrends, all right, tells me it's going up to find some resistance from which to tag or bounce away from, okay? So there's QQQ and SPY. Let's go ahead and take a look at the daily charts. We'll pick up some clean ones here, okay? Daily chart, you can see QQQ, new all-time high, just dropped the mic. It doesn't get any better. than that. QQQ, new all-time high. If we zoom way out, yeah, you know, if it's making a new all-time high, there's probably a 99.9999 chance that it's in an uptrend, all right, and it's bullish, all right, so on the daily chart. So there you go, new all-time high on QQQ. Okay, so the weekly's in an uptrend and the monthly's in an uptrend. Okay, so you can see why like a 10-minute uptrend over VWAP, all right, when you got all those time frames, those big ones supporting that 10-minute uptrend over VWAP, all right, makes sense, all right, because every bigger time frame started out manifesting as, well, guess what, a tick uptrend, and then it transitioned to a 1-minute uptrend, and then it transitioned into a 2, into a 3, into a 15, and it goes right on up the line. Anyways, there's QQQ, monthly uptrend, daily, all right, definitely in an uptrend and bullish. There's the quad lines. This is from the low on up to the most recent high. Let's take a look at SPY. SPY is doing the same thing. Didn't make a new all-time high on Friday, but they had one on Thursday. SPY did not do bad. They closed up over the bullish trap and over the 17 EMA. Again, it's at the top of quadrant 4, so that's bullish, and it's in an uptrend when nothing is broken here on SPY. Let's take a look at IWM. And IWM put in a new all-time high. Okay, so bullish and in an uptrend. Let's take a look at Diamond Dow. Diamond Dow puts in an inside day, closing over the bullish trap, over the rising 17, top of quadrant 4. Yes, that's bullish and in an uptrend. FNGU. Okay, we watch the FNGU. It's got 10 of the most heavily weighted securities inside the NASDAQ and the SPY. All right, so when those 10 move as a pack, they tend to drag those two indexes, in whichever direction they're moving. All right, when they move as a pack, and you can see they're moving up because you can see clearly right here, FNGU made a new all-time high, which makes that bullish and in an uptrend. FNGU. Okay, that's those big boys like the Google, Microsoft, Amazon, all the big name players, all right, with huge market cap. So there's FNGU. All right, let's take a look at some technicals. No, you know what we'll do? We'll take a look at silver. It's always fun to look at products making new new 13-year high. Says new all-time high, new 13-year high for silver right there. Okay, all-time high happens to be, where is it anyways? You know what I'll do? I'll do this, and all-time high is about 48.50. Might as well put a line in. I don't have to go look for it again. 48.50. Okay, it's about 48.50. Silver is the all-time high, and we can look back and see the last time we were up there in this area was, oh my gosh, 2011. So that makes this a 14-year high. Okay, this is a new 14-year high. All right, so nice work there on silver, new 14-year high. Price action ripping. All right, let's take a look at gold. That's on the daily chart. Okay, new 14-year high. Let's take a look at GLD. GLD, not too shabby. Higher low, higher high, closing over the bullish trap, over the rising 17. Kind of bull flagging up here. That's bullish and in an uptrend right there. Okay, maybe GLD gets on up to 650, maybe 380. Okay, so GLD, daily, uptrend, and bullish. Let's take a look at UNG. Just the opposite here. UNG putting in a bear flag. UNG at the, down here near the bottom of quadrant 1. So that's bearish. and we're still in a downtrend. Although if they do take out that high or that high, either one, all right, they will negate the downtrend. Not a very high bar to set, just saying. If they do happen to take this out, I would look for a target of the bottom of this tail right here. So I don't know where that is. Let's see what we got. The low is 1397. That would be my target. Okay, if they get an uptrend going, 1397. Look for that. And I wouldn't be afraid to take my profits early, just in case others are taking their profits early. Okay, you can see right now, still in a downtrend. We have not made a higher high, so we continue to dig out lower lows. Got a higher low here, so we'll see what happens. They tried to make a higher high, and it looks like it got rejected. So just not ready yet. Bearish and in a downtrend. USO. Okay, USO likes to go up and give it up. Goes up, gives it up. Okay, so price action. Up here in the upper third, that'd be bullish. Down here in the lower third, that'd be bearish. All right, it's in the middle, so it's just neutral. Again, you go up, you give it up, you're just neutral, okay? It's only when you go up and you can hold that higher ground, that's when you're bullish, okay? You got to get up and hold the higher ground. And you can see clearly USO has not been able to do that. You look back at SPY, see how SPY moves up and it holds the higher ground. Up, holds the higher ground. Well, consequently, it's bullish, all right? Because that's what it's doing, all right? That's the type of price action you want to look for. Look for a group, a series of candles that move up and then hold that higher ground, creating that launch pad from which to launch higher. All right, so that would be the price action I would look for in my charts if I was looking for something for the future. Okay, take a big look at ACLO. Just see that one. That's a wow, what a day like that. Again, moving up and over to the right. Okay, so a little pullback there, but notice not making a lower low. Okay, so there's a low, not making a lower low. Okay, so price, see how price moves up, holds the higher ground, creates a launch pad, and rips up to this side. Okay, then pulls back, makes an equal low right there. Okay, and then comes back up here. Now it starts to hold the higher ground. Okay, not in a straight line, but in a bull flag. Again, another bull flag. Again, another bull flag. And then a huge rip to the upside on ACLO. That was, well, $18.27. That was in April right there. That's a pretty good size rip right there. Up there around 131. 135, huge rip in ACLO. Okay, so again, move up, hold the higher ground. All right, let's go back to USO, finish up with what we got going on there. Again, just neutral. All right, and in an uptrend because they see this little high over the 17. They took out the high, so they're in an uptrend. But if they take out this low or this low, either one, they'll be in a downtrend. Again, they're just consolidating in this bear flag. But let's face it, they're on top of the 4-year, 3-year high anchored VWAP. That's a post-COVID high right there for USO. Okay, oil just struggling here. I don't know if those electric cars are doing it. But oil, just, I don't know, just having a hard time. Again, just not able to hold that higher ground. Here we are in 2023. Again, see it up here. Just struggling to hold higher ground. Okay, so if you're in energy, I think you might be better off in something other than, well, this oil. Anyways, doesn't look good for me. Anyways, okay. So there's USO. Take a look at our technicals. T2101, again, more and more market breath coming out of the market. This is the momentum. This is the wind in the sails, okay? So we keep losing more and more day by day on this uptrend. So I don't know what kind of change we get. Is it going to be a bull flag over to the right, or are they actually going to drop it hard? I don't know. I think we're in the middle of a tech bubble, and I'm going to call it really an AI bubble, all right, which happens to be tech as well. I think we're in the middle of an AI bubble, okay? And I don't think it's anywhere near its end, but I do think we're in that tech bubble right now. Price action here, T2101, okay, market breadth. This is the lowest it's been since April of 2025, okay? So big drop there, all right, in market breadth. Let's take a look at T2122. I kind of pictured price being up here yesterday on Friday. It ran off in the opposite direction only because we were holding this bull flag inside the buy zone. I thought we'd definitely be up here. Instead, we had a pullback. You can see price action. Well, it made a lower low. All right, so here's a low. They made a lower low, and then they made a series of lower highs right here. So we had a bull flag here, and now we're looking at a bear flag here. So, of course, we're opening up this morning lower. So price action underneath the midpoint or the 50-yard line. Okay, so it's below 50. You can see it 44.55 is where we left off on Friday, okay, inside of the seller's chop zone. Okay, so we'll see what happens with that. Again, I really think we pull back to that lower channel line in SPY. We'll see what happens, but I think that's where we're headed. And I think maybe we bounce there. How far we bounce, I don't know. We'll see what happens. T2122, T2123. Again, not a new all-time high. All right, just consolidating, and that's bullish consolidation, by the way, over prior consolidation. So that is bullish. We're still up over the 200. We're in a downtrend technically because see this last candle of the day, it made a lower low. All right, so that technically it's in a downtrend. That is a bull flag. Don't be fooled by that downtrend though. That is still bullish up there. We're up over the 200 SMA. This is the 15-minute chart, T2123. Okay, so that's still bullish. Still looking good. 3-bar chart, you can see clearly price moves up, holds the higher ground. Top of quadrant 4, that's bullish. That's in an uptrend. That's over the 200 SMA. That's at the top of quadrant 4. That is bullish. Have not made any lower lows. This would be the first low to take out. We are a ways away from that on the 3-bar chart. Okay, let's take a look at FNGU. Remember, they hit a new all-time high on Friday, so nice work there. Again, bullish consolidation, over consolidation from the 18th until, well, today. Okay, so that is still bullish. Pullbacks are sometimes necessary to test those support areas to see if they will still hold as support. Right now, we're opening up underneath yesterday's consolidation. Kind of spells out a 10-minute downtrend right there on FNGU. Maybe a pullback to test the top of this consolidation. We'll see what happens. Again, I still think we're pulling back to that lower channel line in SPY. So FNGU not gapping up and holding the higher ground this morning, actually gapping down and consolidating on the same launch area they left from on Thursday. All right, so there's FNGU. Let's take a look at the economic calendar. All right, for the dollar, we're still in a downtrend. Price moves down and then over to the right. We closed Sunday night, all right, right around 97.63, 97.67 area. Still in a bear flag, all right, still in a downtrend because we're making lower lows. See, there's a low. We made a lower low. So still in a downtrend. Main event this week is going to be GDP. That's on Thursday. I'll get to that in just a second. Max Payne for today. That's the puts and calls that expired today in the SPY. 663 with a put to call ratio. They're saying there's 3 puts for every call. So there's a put squeeze on the table. We'll see what they want to do this morning. Again, we are moving lower, but if you want to don't want to let the puts out, all right, don't give them a chance to grab their profits, all right, or double down and get out. Earnings this week. What do we got here for this week? Okay, just familiar names. You can see a lot of them can't even find the profit and loss right there, or they're not ready yet. All right, just familiar names. Nothing here that's going to move the markets. Tuesday, we'll see what we got. Micron Technology, 182 billion. They're going to report in the close. That's tomorrow night. Okay, that'll help out the semiconductors. All right, and maybe the tech sector. But all in all, not a big market mover. Wednesday, Cintas. Again, familiar names. Nothing that's going to move the markets. Thursday, come on. Thursday, Costco's going to report in the evening, $422 billion. That's a market mover. That will definitely help out the retail sector if they print some good numbers. It's almost $500 million there. Excuse me, $500 billion. All right. So that'll be the main event probably for earnings would be Thursday night. Thursday morning will be GDP. That'll be probably the main event there. And we got Jinso Solar. Okay, so that's let me make sure I got this right. Millions. This is millions. They got 1 billion. All right. So again, more familiar names. Nothing that's going to move the markets. On the economic calendar, this is the 22nd. Nothing happening today. Tomorrow, PMI composite flash. 945. Richmond Fed Manufacturing Index at 10. So light day today and tomorrow. So wherever they want to move it, probably figure it's going to be the same direction. Wherever they want to move it, there's no economic data to disrupt them, except for Tuesday night when Micron reports, and that's not a big disruptor. Wednesday, new home sales 10 o'clock, and a petroleum report at 10:30, which is normal for every Wednesday. And then on Thursday, I'm just going to touch on this lightly. The main event this week is GDP, and that comes out at 8:30. That's it. We'll cover the rest of this later in the week when we get closer to those days. All right, traders, that's it for me. I'm going to get this out for Video Land, Podcast Land. Yes, I will. I had a request for this. Let me get that up there. And good morning. Good morning. Gold and silver's cooking. What's going on? Well, the dollar's weak, Fido, but I will take a look at it. PCE this week, yes, at the end of the week, right? The big one's JDP, though. I like that to be the main event. Thanks, Jim. And there's the QR code. I can zoom in, push it around. Maybe that helps. Yeah, you scan that with your QR code, with your smartphone camera. It's kind of neat, all right? And then you get a little pop-up. If you click the pop-up, it opens up your browser on your smartphone, and then you fill in the information there to, to get registered for the Road to Wealth workshop. Yeah. The QR codes in the main chat. Oh, you want me to post it? Oh, okay. Yes, I will. Yes, I will post it. Yes, you wanted me to post it. All right, traders, that's it. I will see you all in about 45 minutes. All right, we'll open up the markets. Hopefully, we can get some price action moving in a 10-minute uptrend. All right, we'll see what we get.